works.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the addendum, follow-up video to the one yesterday where I got the truck moving under its own power. Had it in gear, reversed, forwarded a little bit in the driveway. Did not have brakes, just enough to drag it to a little stop. It was just rears. So I had to do the bleeding on that. So today, this morning, went out and had my son with me, and we got the brakes bled, and I took it for a drive, an actual street drive. So that's the official. The truck is, I'm not going to say done because that's just stupid. It's not even close to done, but the truck is moving under its own power and it can be operated on a road, which is a huge milestone and something that quite honestly I thought I would have had done 2 months ago. Yeah, best laid plans of this mice. Is it mice or meese? Whatever. Yeah, it took way longer. And of course, that was all documented in the videos leading up to this. So what the plan is right now is it's still over at my mom's where the bigger garage is. And I have to go over the lights. I think the tail lights aren't working on it. I need to fix that. I know one of the turn signals isn't working. This is all just getting it really ready for me to drive it back to my house for essentially the winter. So that needs to be done. I got the vacuum connected. I got the distributor locked down. Before I drive it back here, I'm going to go on a nut and bolt, double check everything. U-joints, the transmission bolts, the exhaust, the motor mounts, just make sure everything is tight. Go over it with a fine tooth comb, make sure none of the wires are going to be in a position where they could either chafe or get melted. I actually had an issue with that this morning when I was warming it up. The loom for the windshield washer, not washer, but the whole windshield wiper assembly was laying down, and sure enough, it was resting on the back header on the driver's side, and it started to melt, but I caught that before it did any wire damage. I smelled it almost right away. The radiator, I may have that dribble leak in that heater port sealed. I used a lot of thread tape on the plug that came with the radiator and just tightened it way down. I got the hose for the overflow installed. I got a cap for the overflow, so it should be a sealed system now. Underneath, there are no new leaks. Now, the rear shaft seal on the transmission was leaking when I bought it, and that is still leaking. But the front pump seal doesn't appear to be leaking. That rear main that I thought may be leaking oil is not. And there's no leak from the front. The timing chain seal, the whatever you want to call it, the crank seal, that's all dry. And the valve covers and pan appear to be nice and dry. So the motor itself is it's chugging right along. I have no indication there's anything wrong with the motor. The squeal, that rubby squeaky sound is there still. And now I know I said in the previous videos I was going to replace the flex plate, but until I didn't do it. But it's just too much work for right now to tear that thing apart to replace it. And I still did not have an absolute verification in my head that was the cause of either the noise or it was truly wobbling. And to be honest, now that I have the torque converter bolted to it, it appears to be rolling nice and straight. I don't know. I'll listen to it a little bit more. You can hear it in the video I'm about to show you of me driving it. You'll hear that noise quite clearly. It comes and goes a little bit, increases, decreases, and it is not necessarily RPM sensitive in as much as it's there, and then if you accelerate, you can't hear it, so I don't know. It might be coming from the front still. I listened a little closer to the water pump area, and if I had to guess if any component on the front of the engine was causing that noise, it may be the water pump causing that. It's a reman part, so those things, there's no guarantee they're good. But anyway, the point is that I can't justify tearing it apart after I put all this work into it to get it drivable on a hunch. So I'm going to go ahead and just have somebody follow me home probably next weekend in it, and make sure I got a tow truck on call in case something goes south. Entirely possible. And if it does, I'm not going to be mad. We'll just get it back here and figure out what the hell went wrong. But I'm so happy. It sounds really good. I mean, right now it's still open-headered, and I know one guy was staring at me funny in his driveway when I was driving it, not in this part of the video, but I drove it again later, and I was kind of getting on it a little bit more. I wanted to make sure it was shifting right, the shift points were right. He was like, dude, what are you doing out there, that thing? I'm like, yeah, screw you. Don't make me get mad and hit the gas, the loud pedal. Right now it's just idling, so whatever. I'm rambling, just getting some of this off my chest. I'm coming down a little bit. I'm still very excited, very happy to have this thing in the position it's in. I'll go ahead and interject this video of me driving it, and I'll catch you on the backside. It works this far. What was that? 600 feet?
12 miles?
12 miles?
Yeah.
Wow. Public school. Cool. All right. Yeah, so there it is. You saw it move. And as far as I know, it's good enough to come home. So we're going to go ahead and get that done. And then what do I do after that? Assuming there's no immediate mechanical issues, I'm not going to touch anything on the motor or trans or anything like that over the winter. I'm probably just going to plan on replacing the transmission in the spring, and because I know that needs to be done anyway. One thing I also noticed is that with that 4.3 they had in it and the 0 horsepower that thing has a stupid tall gear in it, and that rear end the ratio is not even close to what I need for that V8. So I'm going to look to see if I can get a posi unit, something with a gear ratio that's more appropriate, and I can match the trans to the rear end and take advantage of the power it has, plus have posi, which will be nice too. And gonna get the stuff together to do the lowering on it, do the axle flip and the front end drop, the drop spindles on it. And just those are the things now that gets into building the truck the way I want it. I have it driving, but it's still, I got to make it my truck. So I want to lower it. I want to start on the body work, get the cab corners replaced, get the rockers replaced, and start smoothing out the body. I need to get the fenders and the hood that I want, the front grille that I want, and do the bumper delete. I'm going, it's a Chevy. There's so many options you can do with these trucks. They've been customizing them for 30 years now. And I just have to pick and choose what I want. So that's the next exciting part. And all the rest of that stuff it's low stress because it can just happen over time. The hard part, getting the motor in and having it driving is done. And I'm super thankful for that. Everybody that helped me, thank you. And everybody that's watched and followed me along on this journey to this point. It's essentially the midway point of the project, and I'm 20 videos in. So there's plenty more to come, but you may not be hearing a lot from me unless there's something going on with the truck, and that's going to be incremental. So thank you for watching, and stay subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead. I'll try to find some things to show and maybe catch up on, keep in touch with everybody on these platforms that I'm posting these videos on coming up over the next 3 or 4 months when we're in the dead of the winter in Kansas. So I'll find something to do to keep myself entertained, and hopefully you can be entertained by it as well. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next installment.